A dusty two-lane highway, somewhere in the American Southwest. The year is 1955. A black car idles at a gas pump in a town so small, it doesn't have a name worth remembering. The man behind the wheel has heavy-lidded eyes and a jaw that looks like it was carved out of a quarry. He is one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. He has survived a chain gang, a prison cell. He has faced down studio heads and walked away laughing. And right now, a small-town gas station owner is telling him to leave. Nobody moves, nobody breathes. The owner is still talking, getting louder, pointing at the road. And Robert Mitchum just sits there, engine running, those sleepy eyes watching the man like he is mildly curious about an insect. 5 minutes later, the whole town knows what happened, and none of them will ever forget it. This is that story. Act 1. The Man Who Was Built by the Road. You have to understand who Robert Mitchum is before you understand what happened that day. He is not a Hollywood creation. He is not polished by a studio. He is not managed into a persona by some publicist in a Beverly Hills office. He is a product of the American road, raw, unfinished, dangerous in the best possible way. It starts in Bridgeport, Connecticut, August 6, 1917. His father, James Mitchum, dies in a railway accident when Robert is 2 years old. 2 years old. Before he can even form a memory of the man is gone. His mother, Anne, does everything she can. But the Great Depression is coming, and it is coming fast. By 14, Robert Mitchum is riding freight trains, not for adventure, for survival. He is a vagrant, a teenage boy with no money, no home, and no plan. He moves from state to state on top of boxcars. He sleeps in fields. He fights when he has to. He eats when he can. This is the foundation. Not acting school, not a drama coach, not a studio contract. The foundation is hunger and open road, and the specific look a man gets in his eyes when he has nothing left to lose. Then comes Georgia. 1933. He is 16 years old, and he is arrested for vagrancy. The sentence is hard labor, a chain gang. He works in brutal southern heat, shackled under armed guard. 50 days. He escapes. He carries the scars on his legs for the rest of his life. He doesn't talk about it much. That's the thing about Mitchum. The men who have actually lived through something rarely need to talk about it. It's already written on them. After Georgia, he boxes. 27 professional bouts. His nose gets broken. His hands get hard. He learns something important in those rings. Most men fold before you ever have to hit them. All you have to do is not flinch first. Act 2. Hollywood finds something it cannot control. He stumbles into acting the way most great things happen, by accident. He is working as a machine operator in a munitions plant in 1942. The monotony nearly breaks him. He has a minor breakdown. A friend drags him to a local theater group just to get him out of the factory. He walks on stage. Something shifts in the room. It is those eyes. Heavy, sleepy, menacing and seductive at the same time. Hollywood calls it bedroom eyes. But that's not quite right. They're not bedroom eyes. They're the eyes of a man who has slept in fields and jail cells and freight cars. They are eyes that have seen the actual bottom of things and came back up without a scratch on the soul. RKO Pictures signs him in 1943. He makes films fast, one after another. He doesn't memorize lines weeks in advance. He reads them the morning of, sometimes 5 minutes before the camera rolls. Directors think this will be a disaster. It is not a disaster. It is consistently, inexplicably perfect. Nobody can explain it. So they stop trying to explain it and just point the camera at him. Then 1948 happens. A drug raid, a Los Angeles jail cell. Headlines screaming that his career is finished. The studio panics. Publicists write the apology letter. All he has to do is sign it. He reads it, sets it down, walks away, serves his 50 days, comes back out. The box office lines wrap around the block. Turns out America doesn't want a perfect man. It wants a real one. The arrest doesn't end his career. It makes him untouchable. From that point forward, nobody in Hollywood tries to manage Robert Mitchum. They just aim the camera and get out of the way. Act 3. The gas station. The silence. The reckoning. Now back to that highway, that small town, that pump. Mitchum pulls in off the main road. He needs gas. Simple enough. He gets out of the car, massive chest, unhurried movements. That slow, deliberate way he carries himself that makes rooms go quiet. The owner comes out, takes one look, and decides to make an example of himself in front of his regulars. He tells Mitchum he doesn't serve his kind here. The reason doesn't matter. The arrogance is the whole story. This man, in his small town, with his small audience of locals, genuinely believes he has power over the situation. He believes the famous actor will be embarrassed, will hurry back to the car, will drive away quietly. Here is what he does not understand. Robert Mitchum has been on a chain gang. He has been in a prison cell. He has been told by studio heads with far more power and money that his career is over. A gas station owner in a forgotten town is not even a warm-up. Mitchum doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't get back in the car. He simply looks at the man for a long moment with those half-closed eyes. Then he does something nobody expects. He walks into the gas station, sits down at the small counter inside, orders a coffee from the visibly stunned attendant working the register, and he drinks it, slowly. Every local in that building watching him, nobody saying a word. The owner follows him in, still talking, still pointing. Mitchum finishes the coffee, sets the cup down, leaves exact change, stands up, looks the owner dead in the eye one final time. Then he walks to the pump himself, fills his own tank, leaves the correct amount of money on the pump, gets back in the car, and drives away at exactly the speed limit. He does not hurry. He never hurries. Within an hour, the story is moving through that town like a current. Because that's what happens when a man with no panic meets a man with all bluster. The bluster evaporates. The calm stays. And everyone remembers which one was which. The locals who watched it happen don't talk about the owner. They talk about Mitchum, the way he moved, the way he never raised his shoulders, the way the room bent around his calm like water around a rock. Some of them have never seen a Hollywood film. They have no idea who he is. They only know what they saw. A man walk into a hostile room and make it his own without asking anyone's permission. That story gets told at dinner tables for years, decades. The owner's name fades. The calm stays forever. Act 4. The darkness he brought to the screen. That same year, 1955, something else happens. Something that permanently changes cinema. Charles Laughton directs a film called The Night of the Hunter. Mitchum plays Harry Powell, a fake preacher, a killer, a man with the word love tattooed on the knuckles of his right hand and hate on his left. He stalks 2 children through the American countryside with a smile and a hymn on his lips. It is one of the greatest villain performances in the history of film. Critics try to explain where it comes from. Journalists ask him about the process. He shrugs, says something like he just showed up and tried not to bump into the furniture. But here is the truth. The darkness in that performance is not manufactured. It is drawn from every road he has walked, every night he has spent in a cell or a field. The character works because Mitchum genuinely knows what it looks like when a man has no bottom to his cruelty. He has met those men. He has lived among them. He brought them to the screen and let the camera find them. Act 5. The secret of effortless mastery. Directors who work with difficult actors understand the toll, the tantrums, the missed calls, the demands, the ego management that takes more time than the actual filmmaking. Then there is Mitchum. He shows up, on time, without demands. He knows the lines somehow, despite appearing to have never looked at them. He does the scene. He does it right. He goes and has a drink. Done. This is the paradox that defines him. He makes the hardest thing look like nothing, and when you make the hardest thing look like nothing, people assume it was nothing. They are wrong. It is everything. It is the entire art. John Huston calls him one of the most instinctively brilliant screen actors he has ever worked with. Otto Preminger says Mitchum is the only actor he has directed who never needed a second take for psychological reasons. Only technical ones. Only camera or lighting. Never performance. One take. Walk away. Done. The laziness is the discipline in disguise. There is a story from the set of a Western he shoots in the early 50s. The director calls for rehearsal. Mitchum doesn't move. Just sits in his chair, hat over his eyes. The director calls again. Mitchum lifts the brim, looks over, says he'll save it for the camera. The director, furious, rolls film just to prove a point. The take is perfect. Print it. The director never asks him to rehearse again. Word gets around. Other directors stop asking too. They learn what the freight trains and the chain gang and the boxing rings already taught him long before Hollywood ever found him. You don't rehearse surviving. You just do it. Act 6. The blueprint. They all copy. The years move. The films pile up. Cape Fear in 1962. Robert Mitchum playing Max Cady, a man so purely menacing that the performance literally causes a scene to be cut from the film for being too disturbing. The Friends of Eddie Coyle in 1973, where he plays a tired, aging criminal with more quiet sadness in one glance than most actors manage in an entire career. Clint Eastwood watches him, studies how he moves, how he holds stillness like a weapon. Robert De Niro watches him, takes notes on what it looks like when danger becomes elegant. He never gives a masterclass. He never writes a book. He just keeps showing up and doing the work and walking away, and the people paying attention understand they are watching something that cannot be taught. Over 110 films across 5 decades. He never wins an Academy Award. He does not care in the slightest. The work is the answer to everything that tries to diminish it. Act 7. The Last Genuine Article. July 1st, 1997. Santa Barbara, California. Robert Mitchum dies of lung cancer and emphysema. He is 79 years old. He is quiet about it the same way he is quiet about everything else. No dramatic farewell. No final press conference. No curated legacy statement. Just gone. His wife Dorothy is with him. They have been married since 1940. 57 years. Through the chain gang stories and the prison cell and the scandals and the 110 films and the decades of people predicting his downfall, she outlasts all of it with him. That part never makes the headlines. It should. Hollywood pauses, not the manufactured pause of PR tributes and coordinated statements. The real pause. The pause that comes when people suddenly realize the last thing of a certain kind has left the room and is not coming back. The last man who was truly unkillable by public opinion. The last man who had actually lived a dangerous life before he pretended to live one for a camera. The last man who could look at every threat, every scandal, every headline demanding he break and just drink his coffee and wait for them to finish. Legacy. More than 110 films. A career spanning 1943 to 1997. 0 apologies on public record. 0 performances given to impress a studio. 0 moments of visible panic under pressure. He is the original blueprint of the cool anti-hero. Every actor who has since played the role of the dangerous, unbothered, effortlessly capable man is drawing from a well that Robert Mitchum dug out of a Georgia chain gang in 1933. That gas station owner is long forgotten. His name is nowhere. His little act of dominance dissolved into nothing the moment Mitchum sat down, ordered his coffee, and refused to be rushed. That is the lesson. That has always been the lesson. You don't defeat arrogance with anger. You defeat it with absolute calm. You sit down, you have your coffee, you fill your own tank, you leave exact change, and you drive away at exactly the speed limit. The people who tried to break you stand there holding nothing while you disappear over the horizon. The frame is everything. Build it strong enough and nothing bounces off it. Not a studio head, not a prison cell, not a small-town man with a big mouth and a gas pump. Robert Mitchum built that frame on the road, on the chain gang, in the ring, before any camera ever pointed at him. By the time Hollywood found him, he was already unbreakable. Pass it on.